Walk into any electronics store in 2026, and you get blasted with a wall of glowing screens. Dozens of TVs, all screaming the same buzzwords: 4K, HDR, smart features, revolutionary technology. You glance at the price tags: $400, $900, $2,000, and you think, how different can they really be? That's the trap. Because here's the ugly truth: not all TVs are built the same. Some brands give you movie theater vibes right in your living room. Others are basically shiny disappointment machines that happen to have a power button. Today, we're ranking 12 of the most recognizable TV brands, from absolute nightmares all the way up to the sets that are actually worth your money. And trust me, you might be shocked by who ends up at the bottom. And if you want more breakdowns like this that save you money and headaches, subscribe to Frugal Finds for You right now. We keep it real, so you don't get played at checkout. Number 12, RCA, the fossil that refused to evolve. RCA is like that washed-up rock band still trying to sell out arenas on name recognition alone. Once upon a time, they were giants, an American electronics pioneer. But today, RCA is stuck in the past, and not in a cool retro way. Their TVs are cheap, sure. That's basically the only compliment. Outdated panels, inconsistent picture quality, and viewing angles so narrow you have to sit directly in front of the screen like you're taking a passport photo. Move 3 inches to the left, and suddenly your deep blacks turn into 50 shades of gray, and not the fun kind. Owner experience. Bought an RCA on sale for the guest room. Month 3, the colors started washing out. In month 6, the sound began buzzing. In month 9, the screen went completely black. Guess it's modern art now. RCA built its name decades ago, but the only reason you still see them on shelves is nostalgia. If you want reliability, keep walking. Number 11, Insignia. Best Buy's budget gamble, Insignia, is Best Buy's house brand, and on paper, it sounds like a win. Cheap, easy to find, and one of the best-selling budget TVs in America. But the reality? It's the TV version of boxed wine. It technically works, but nobody's proud of it. Insignia usually tops out at HDR10, which sounds impressive, until you put it next to Dolby Vision. Colors look flatter, contrast feels weak, and brightness struggles when the second sunlight hits your room. Forget cinematic. This is more cheap motel room TV energy. Even worse, a lot of models skip local dimming entirely. So those dark, moody scenes in your favorite shows? Gone. Replaced by one big gray blob where black is just an idea. And the price might tempt you, but the build quality isn't doing you any favors. Owner experience. Grabbed an Insignia for $300 and thought I won. A year later, the remote stopped working, apps crashed nonstop, and one day the screen went black for good. Never again. Bottom line, Insignia is fine if you need a disposable set for a spare room, but for your main TV, this is not the brand you build your living room around. Number 10, Toshiba. The ghost wearing a Fire TV badge. Toshiba used to be a household name. If you had a Toshiba in your living room back in the day, you were doing just fine. But times changed, and Toshiba changed with them. Today, Toshiba's TV business is owned by Hisense, even though it still operates under the Toshiba name. Most Toshiba sets lean heavily on Amazon's Fire TV system, which can be a plus if you're deep in the Prime ecosystem. The upside? Smooth app performance, easy integration, and low input lag that gamers appreciate. The problem? The software can be slick, but the hardware often can't keep up. You're getting mid-tier panels that don't match the picture quality of other brands at the same price. And if you're here hoping for classic Toshiba durability, those days are long gone. Owner experience. Bought a Toshiba. Fire TV, thinking I'd get quality. The system was smooth, sure, but dead pixels showed up before a year was even over. Support told me to reset it. Spoiler, didn't fix a thing. Toshiba is trying to ride nostalgia and Amazon branding, but in reality, it's a shadow of what it used to be. Number 9, JVC. The invisible middle child. JVC has a legendary reputation in audio gear and cameras, but in the TV world, they've quietly faded into the background. Globally, JVC still has a following, but in the US, availability is inconsistent at best. You might find a JVC TV in one store and a completely different model in another, because specs and operating systems can change depending on the region. That's right. The JVC you buy in California could behave differently from the one your cousin buys overseas. For US shoppers, that means limited model choices and spotty quality control. And if you're hunting flagship features, Dolby Vision, Mini LED, Premium HDR, formats, don't get your hopes up. Owner experience. Picked up a JVC on sale. Looked fine at first, but the menu lag was brutal and apps kept freezing. Tried to return it. No replacements in stock. Guess I learned why. Unless you stumble into an unbelievable deal, JVC sits in the forgettable middle tier. Not the worst, but not competitive either. Number 8. Philips. Two faces, two realities. Philips is a strange one. In Europe, it's a respected brand. Sleek designs, great panels, and the famous Ambilight feature, where LED lighting spills color onto the wall and makes movies feel more immersive. Over there, people genuinely love Philips. But in the US, it's a totally different story. Here, the Philips name is licensed out, and many sets you see are budget-level TVs that don't resemble the premium European Philips experience at all. It's like thinking you're buying a Mercedes, but what you actually drive home is a beat-up Kia with a fancy badge taped on the Yeehee hood. And the issues don't stop at build quality. Owners complain about slow, clunky menus, buffering in apps, and an interface that feels stuck in 2015. It's like buying a smart TV that needs 3 cups of coffee just to boot up. Owner experience. Got a Philips, thinking I was getting European quality. First week, Ambilight was cool. Month 2, the menu lagged so hard I thought it froze. Month 6, I sold it and bought a TCL instead. Bottom line, in the US, Philips often sounds better than it performs. Don't let the name trick you. Number 7. Panasonic. The premium ghost. If you've shopped for TVs in the US recently, you may have noticed something weird. Where is Panasonic? Panasonic was once a giant in home electronics, but its TVs have mostly disappeared from North American shelves since around 2016. Globally, though, Panasonic still has a strong reputation. They make gorgeous OLED panels, often praised for natural color accuracy and excellent motion handling. They even support premium audio formats like Dolby Atmos and DTS:X, so movies can sound like a private theater. But here's the catch. In the US, your options are painfully limited. Panasonic's lineup feels so rare, it's like they're keeping TVs hidden under the counter and only handing them out to a secret club. That scarcity alone knocks them down on this list. Then comes the price. Panasonic wants premium money, and in the US market, it's tough to justify when LG, Sony, and even TCL can deliver more complete packages. Add the smaller app ecosystem and limited smart features, and suddenly you start asking what you're really paying for. Owner experience. Imported a Panasonic OLED after hearing the hype. Picture quality was insane, but no HBO Max, clunky updates, and almost zero US support. Paid top dollar for half the ecosystem. Panasonic can still make beautiful panels, but for most US buyers, the hassle outweighs the flex. Number 6. Vizio. The budget hero that fell from grace. Vizio used to be the budget king in America. Back in the 2000s and 2010s, they crushed the competition by delivering solid picture quality at prices Samsung and Sony couldn't touch. For a while, recommending Vizio was an easy win, but somewhere along the way, the magic wore off. Vizio can still look great for the price when everything works, but owners have been loud about durability problems, software glitches, and an interface so clunky it feels like it was designed by someone who's never used a remote in their life. Menus lag, apps crash. Updates randomly break features that worked fine yesterday. And then there's SmartCast, Vizio's platform that tries to compete with Roku, Google TV, and WebOS, and fails dramatically. It's slow, confusing, and frustrating if you're used to smoother streaming elsewhere. Owner experience. Bought a 65-inch Vizio OLED, thinking it was a steal. First month, gorgeous picture. Month 3, half my apps stopped working. In month 5, the remote lag felt like dial-up internet. Month 8, I gave up and bought a Hisense. Vizio isn't dead, but it's not the unbeatable budget champion it used to be. And with TCL and Hisense chasing them down hard, you've got better choices today for the same money or less. We've burned through the budget, heartbreakers, and premium ghosts. Now we're stepping into the ring with the heavyweights. These next brands are everywhere, filling store shelves, dominating ads, fighting for your living room. But here's the twist. One is wildly underrated. One is quietly taking over the world, and one is charging champagne prices for soda performance. If you've made it this far, subscribe to Frugal Finds for You, because the top 5 is where people usually get fooled, and we're not letting that happen to you. Number 5. Hisense. The underdog is throwing punches. For years, Hisense was the brand you ignored while walking straight to Samsung and Sony. Not anymore. Hisense spent the last decade going from background extra to serious contender. They bought brands like Toshiba's TV business, learned fast, and started producing sets that compete with the big names. Their ULED tech, mini LED backlighting, and strong color accuracy have turned heads, especially when you see the price tag and think, that has to be a mistake. But it's not all sunshine and Dolby Vision. Hisense has weak spots, mainly sound quality and build durability on certain models. Some sets sound thin, some feel a little flimsy, and a few owners complain about fragile bezels that seem allergic to toddlers and curious pets. Owner experience. Got a Hisense U8 series for half the price of an LG OLED. The picture was stunning. The audio sounded like it came out of a cereal box. Bought a soundbar, and suddenly I had a $3,000 experience for $1,200. Bottom line, Hisense is punching above its weight. If you want premium visuals without premium prices, this is one of the smartest buys in 2026. Number 4, TCL, the budget disruptor. TCL is like that garage band that went viral and suddenly sells out arenas. A few years ago, most people didn't care. Today, TCL is one of the fastest growing TV brands in the world, and there's a reason. Their 6 Series wave changed the game. For the first time, you could get QLED panels, mini LED tech, and Dolby Vision support without selling a kidney. TCL forced bigger brands to rethink their pricing, and buyers loved it. But success comes with growing pains. TCL quality control can be inconsistent. One person gets a flawless set. Another opens the box and finds dead pixels, light bleed, or a panel that looks like it was tested by a toddler with a hammer. Owner experience. Bought a TCL 6 Series and was blown away. Got my brother the same model a month later. His came with 2 dead pixels out of the box. TCL replaced it, but the hassle was real. On the software side, TCL usually gets it right. Many models run Roku TV or Google TV, which means a smooth, simple interface without the clunky menus some competitors still push. TCL isn't perfect, but when they nail it, they give you 90% of a premium experience for 60% of the cost. Number 3, Sony. The luxury performer. Sony has been in the TV game for decades, and unlike RCA or modern Toshiba, it never really disappeared. Their classic lines defined an era, and today Sony's staying power comes from what they've always done best: picture quality. Sony is for people who care about visuals down to the last pixel. Movies in Dolby Vision look clean and cinematic. Gaming on a PS5 looks buttery smooth. Sony's processing makes everything feel polished, and their motion handling is top tier, so sports and action scenes don't smear into a blurry mess. But here's the catch. Sony makes you pay for it. While TCL and Hisense are delivering near-premium performance for bargain prices, Sony prices, for people who don't blink at $2,000 tags. And for that money, you don't always get features competitors include by default, like stronger built-in audio or smarter, faster interfaces. Owner experience. Bought a Sony A80K OLED for movie nights. Picture quality was unreal, but after spending $2,300, I expected better sound. Ended up dropping another $500 on a soundbar. Still, Sony feels premium. Build quality is excellent, support is often better than average, and for movie lovers and gamers, Sony delivers a level of polish few brands match. If you want elite picture quality and don't mind paying for it, Sony earns its top 3 spot. If you're on a budget, you might find yourself staring at TCL and Hisense like, why would I spend double? We've reached the final showdown. The two names that dominate living rooms, warehouse shelves, and late-night commercials. But just because they're popular doesn't mean they're perfect. Number 2, Samsung. The hype machine has a bright side. Let's be honest, Samsung is everywhere. Walk into Best Buy, and there's an entire wall of glowing Samsung screens screaming at you like the Vegas Strip. To be fair, they've earned plenty of hype. Samsung's Neo QLED sets deliver ridiculous brightness and sharp contrast that make sports, movies, and video games pop. Their flagship TVs pack cutting-edge tech, mini LED backlighting, quantum HDR, and refresh rates that make gamers drool. If you want a TV that looks like it came from the future, Samsung checks a lot of boxes. But here's the part they don't plaster on the billboard. Samsung has a bloatware problem. These TVs come loaded with more pre-installed apps than a teenager's phone, and you can't remove half of them. Even worse, ads. Yes, you can spend $1,800 on a premium TV and still get promoted shows and random recommendations on the home screen. Nothing says luxury like getting pitched an insurance ad before. Netflix even loads. Owner experience. Bought a Samsung QN90 series. The picture was insane. Brightness was crazy. No regrets there. But the ads? I didn't think I'd need an ad blocker for my television. Samsung also loves pushing updates that occasionally change your settings, rearrange menus, or break small features without warning. They deliver incredible tech, but they also remind you who's really in control. Bottom line, Samsung is an innovation monster. But if you hate cluttered menus and forced ads, you might start side-eyeing that shiny remote after a few weeks. Number 1, LG, the OLED king. If Samsung is the loud hype machine, LG is the quiet assassin. And in 2026, they're still wearing the crown. LG's OLED panels are in a league of their own. While most TVs rely on backlights, OLED pixels light themselves individually. That means perfect blacks, insane contrast, and colors so vivid you'll swear you're looking through a window instead of at a screen. Movie lovers get spoiled. Gamers get spoiled. Sports fans get spoiled. Everyone gets spoiled. LG's WebOS interface is clean and easy to navigate, and compared to some competitors, LG is less obnoxious with forced clutter. They also have elite gaming credentials, HDMI 2.1 support, low latency modes, and refresh rates up to 120 Hz that make next-gen consoles feel smooth and responsive. Owner experience. Upgraded to an LG C-Series OLED after 5 years on a Samsung QLED. The difference was night and day. Dark scenes finally looked dark. No blooming. Zero regrets. But LG isn't flawless. OLED can suffer burn-in if you leave static images. News tickers, scoreboards, menu screens, sitting too long. LG has improved panel longevity a lot, but replacing a damaged OLED is still expensive. That said, for pure cinematic performance, LG remains the undisputed king. If you want the best overall viewing experience in 2026, this is it. Earlier, I promised to reveal the one TV brand you should run from like it's on fire. Here it is, Insignia. On paper, it looks tempting. Low prices, built-in smart platforms, and easy Amazon integration. But in reality, these sets are the fast food of television. Fine for a little while, and then you regret everything. Owner horror story. Bought 3 Insignias over 5 years. Every single one died. Black screen, no repair possible. Finally gave up and switched to TCL. Haven't looked back. Poor build quality, inconsistent panels, and a lifespan shorter than your last New Year's resolution make this a hard pass for anyone who wants their TV to last more than a year or two. There are better budget picks, Hisense and TCL specifically, that give you far more performance without doubling the price. If you want maximum performance and you're willing to pay for it, LG OLED is still the gold standard. If you want cutting-edge brightness and futuristic features, Samsung's lineup delivers, but if you're bargain hunting, skip Insignia and focus on TCL or Hisense instead. Both give you premium vibes without the premium bill. And remember, don't let those shiny showroom displays fool you. TV brands sell the dream. But once it's in your living room, reality hits different. Before you go hunting for your next TV, subscribe to Frugal Finds for You. We break down the tricks, the traps, and the truth. The big brands don't want you to know, so you spend smarter, save bigger, and avoid the regrets. Hit subscribe, tap the bell, and join the smart shoppers who stay one step ahead.